at what point in INSTED, and as I'm asking this, I'm like, I think it was probably from the very beginning. So I'm answering your question for you, maybe. But at what point when you were in INSTED did you sort of start thinking, or maybe as like a group, hey, we better take this thing we should take this a lot more seriously because there's something that we can do with this beyond just being a local band playing shows. Because what I find interesting about INSTED, and I didn't know this until I started doing the timeline edit for that documentary that's with the vinyl, I didn't know how much of a punk background you guys had. Like when I heard that Brad X was talking about you guys, I remember being like, why Brad? Why is he talking? Like it should be Dubar. It should be which Dubar was talking. But so anyway, at what point for at least for you, and maybe if you know when the whole band did, but like when did you kind of go, well, okay, we need to really like drill down?
Yeah. So Kevin and I were definitely the main two guys, like steering the ship, if you will. And Kevin and I realized, so let me back into this a little bit on the punk background stuff. Kevin and I were, trading records. Kevin and I were reading Maximum Rock and Roll, Triple X, Flipside, and reading about, record reviews and live reviews and scene reports, and realizing that there's a couple of bands that get out there and tour. So to us, it almost seemed like an afterthought. Of course we're touring. Of course this is what we would do. Now, when we started doing INSTED, that wasn't the intent. The intent was that we had a band and we were having a good time, and there was a half pipe in the backyard. And so like some big names of skateboarding came back and skated that ramp because there weren't a lot of them in, 86. And people started getting into us just hearing us rehearse. And then I don't know how this happened, but somehow Dano and Billy Rubin got wind of us. They came down and started hanging out at rehearsals. And then they were into it and started kind of like marketing us, like the equivalent of being a Instagram influencer or something right now, like,
right.
Hey, these are the guys right here. These guys are coming your way. Get ready. You heard it here first. So I think at that point, Kevin and I started realizing, okay, maybe we're a little better than we think we are. People are interested in what we're doing. And so we started quickly recognizing that the other three guys that were in the band with us did not have the same drive, ambition, ideology as us, So I would say by the time we were recording Bonds of Friendship, Tom, Billy, Tony were still involved, and they're on that recording. But even that was, it was a pain in the ass to get them to go to the studio on time, And we were going from Orange County to Venice to record, and like we just got tired of the babysitting. And those guys were, that's no disrespect to them. They were having a great time in their own way. Me and Kevin were like, we got to make a record. We got to go on the road. This is what we should do. We got to make shirts. We got to make stickers, blah, 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 blah. And so I would say by 87, we definitely were like, we got to start changing some things. And that's where you see Tony fall out. Then you see Bill fall out. Then you see Tom fall out. And then, actually in the middle of all that, Bear comes in. And then we deal with a couple of different bass players. A guy we went to high school with, Chris Carbonell, who I really just kind of discounted as a metalhead back then. But really, he was a punk guy. He still is. He still plays in punk bands. And so he helped us out for a while. But INSTED wasn't really his thing. I think he would have stayed in the band forever if we let it be that way. But Kevin and I didn't feel like he was the right fit, even though he was an extremely good bass player and just a good musician and a good dude. And well versed in punk and hardcore, like just there was something off, you know. So you know, then we get Rich in, and now we're like at that very moment, like it was like crystal clear to us. This is it. This is what's moving forward. So hopefully did I cover enough ground?
Oh no, you were awesome. You were awesome. And I guess I have one more little tiny question. Because no, I feel, look, this is prime time, family time. You're giving me like an hour at like 6. So this is my final question. Like getting Rich in the band.
How's this lighting treating you right here? You like that?
Oh no, I love it. It's kind of like film noir, like, you know, and kind of like with me with the shadow. It's kind of like, hey, where were you, kid, on the night of?
Yeah. What kind of amateur night are you running over there?
I'm telling you, it's all amateur night. I'm like Dan Levitard. I lean into my sloppy production values.
It's the only way to be, man.
But this shouldn't surprise you. This is nothing you haven't known since like 1990. No, since 1990. Final question, because like to me, Rich seems like he was always in INSTED. Like when he came in the room and he started playing in the band, did you kind of know right away this guy or no?
So when Rich came to try out for INSTED, he knew every song. He played it perfectly. We didn't have to stop and tell him, oh no, you need to go to this chord or whatever. Like he knew. And I know this is on the documentary as well, but you know, there was something to that. Like other people that should have done well didn't do well, you know. But this guy that we would see at shows, because we knew Rich, but we didn't know him. You know what I mean? We knew we could run into him at Gilman if we were up in Gilman. We knew that we could see him at the Irvine Rec Center. We knew that we could see him at Flashdance, you know. But he showed up prepared, and it, you know, it spoke volumes to Kevin and I specifically. You know, like, this dude cares. This dude wants it. So even though the popular way would have been to go with a couple of other guys that were, you know, available, it was Rich the whole time. And then, you know, we get out on the road with him and it's not smooth. You know, the rest of us have known each other because even with Bear joining the band, we all went to high school together. We all went to high school parties together. We all knew each other very well. We had a sense of humor and, you know, just like how friends get, where you know, and you have inside jokes and you know what a look means and things like that. Rich was outcast, even from, you know, say like Enoch, who went on our first tour. You know, he had been around us enough where he was dialed in with us. Rich was like a fish out of water, and we tortured him. We were relentlessly mean to him in a lot of ways. And I mean, I'm embarrassed of it, but we were, you know, like, but that was also, again, Posy band, you know, that was part of our personality, like, torture you relentlessly. Like, we found a weakness, you're fucked.
A few bands later, Carrie Nation took the stage. Shortly after that, Judge, a band from New York, took the stage. Andrew and I left a few songs into their set. As I was leaving, Nelson introduced me to Greg Brown, Scott Sundahl, Paul T., and other members of a group known as the Orange County Sloth Crew. Eventually, they would nickname me Mushnik, which was a character I had been in a high school play. On the ride home, I had no idea that those people I had just met would become and would be the gateway to the best friends I would ever have.